Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. You won't just start all the reading. I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining me, and glad to be back here with you live on Storytime. Thank you indeed for joining in, and it's been a while, but we are back. Missed you Monday, missed you Tuesday, but we're here. And remember too that on Monday, March 17th, that marked 5 years of Storytime. 5 years. It's insane. But we're here and still going. And here we are, another great story coming your way. Thank you indeed for joining in Storytime today. I hope that you are doing well wherever you are, and sending particular love to Pamela Courtney and the crew out there in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and of course the state of Louisiana in general too, and whatever areas were affected by the recent storms that were going through the south and towards the east coast as well. Hope everybody is doing well. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Always a pleasure to be here with you. And cannot wait to share today's book. And this one is also coming to us from Chronicle Books of San Francisco. And this one is written by Lisa CONGDON, written and illustrated by Lisa CONGDON. And this one is called The Illustrated Encyclopedia of the Elements. And I'm trying to get it so you can see the title as well. Of the Elements, the powers, uses, and histories of every atom in the universe. And of course, we're not going to be getting into every element, into everything in here. We're just going to pick snippets from it. We're just going to excerpts from this book and get to read that. And hopefully you can find it at your local library and or wherever else that you find books, and get to dive deeper into some of this. So we're going to look at that, and then we're going to look at some brief notes on the back as well. There's a huge glossary in this book that we won't have time for today, but hopefully we'll do a little part of it, and you can get to see what it's like. And so hopefully when you get the book, you can get to dive in there. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And I cannot believe 5 years of Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for being a part of the Storytime community. What is your Storytime journey? When did you join in? Good to see you here with us. Thank you. And I cannot wait for today's book. How are you doing? And remember too that Pamela Courtney has a brand new book that is coming out on May 20th. So please mark your calendars, make a date, and of course, request this book from your librarians. Of course, indeed, if you can, pre-order that for May 20th. Thank you so much for being here with us today on Storytime. Appreciations all around to each and every one of you. And cannot wait for this book today. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. And let us see this morning who is here with us enjoying Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in. Kathy, how are you doing today from out there in sunny Ohio today? Thank you so much for joining in. Enjoy the brightness out there. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Out here in the Bay, still a little bit cold out there. 37 last time I checked, 37 degrees Fahrenheit last time I checked. So if you're going out, just be sure to check the weather and be sure you're prepared. Maybe an extra layer may be a good idea. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Indeed, the illustrated encyclopedia of the elements, the powers, uses, and histories of every atom in the universe. This one coming to us from Lisa CONGDON and Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Coming right up very, very shortly. Luna, how are you doing today? Sending you lots and lots of love. Thank you for joining in Storytime. I hope that you're doing well out there in Ohio. And of course, to everybody that joins in, whether you're here live right now, we appreciate you. Thank you. I'm glad that our timetables could line up and you could be here live with us. And of course, if you're joining in later on for the recordings, well, thank you for choosing to be a part of Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And this I just wanted to share this image too. Thank you, Ariel Thomas, of course. And beautiful as the sun came out right after the rains, just perfect lighting that day. And just wanted to share that with you. Oh, beautiful indeed, and how all the elements, all everything comes together to give us such a beautiful earth. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Are you ready? This is our book today. Please find it at your local library. Yes, the gold makes it a little bit hard to read. The illustrated encyclopedia of the elements, the powers, uses, and histories of every atom in the universe. This one is written and illustrated by Lisa CONGDON. And you see too, as you go through the book, the familiar illustrations of Lisa CONGDON. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Please get comfortable, get cozy, get ready, as we'll be starting with our story for today very, very shortly. And yes, as you can see behind me there, Storytime founded in 2020 in Oakland, and here we are, 2025, still going strong. Thank you so much for joining in. And of course, this is a lot because of your amazing support out there that you've shown us all through being a part of this community, sending in those recommendations, and of course joining in and helping build a wonderful community. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. I'll see you on the other side of this very short break when we're back with more Storytime. Thank you indeed for joining in this morning.
Hey, this is Timothy Goodspeed of the Soapbox Salute. I'm the one who wrote Storytime's theme song. If you'd like to hear more of my protest folk music, you can check out the links below on Instagram or at my website. You are watching Storytime with Mr. Limata.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Thank you, Timothy Goodspeed, the Soapbox Salute, and of course the Storytime theme song, right? I'm sure for many of you, catchy, follows you around during the day sometimes. Well, that is the person behind it. And 5 years of Storytime, 5 years of that song. I apologize. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Well, as we said, this one is the illustrated encyclopedia of the elements, the powers, uses, and histories of every atom in the universe, written and illustrated by Lisa CONGDON. And there we go too, just holding out that periodic table there of the elements, as you can see, and just one spread that you can get to see in this book. Just making sure I have it right for you. But yeah, so we're going to be diving in and looking at some of those. And then when you have the book, you will see too. Oh, there we go. I just have to show that. So when you have the book, you find that it has, well, your table of contents is divided or separated into different parts. As you can see in here, you have endangered elements, you have elements and the human body, and that's where we'll be starting from today. And then of course too, you have what's the other one? The 10 most abandoned elements on Earth, and so on. And so just just giving you a little bit of an idea of how the book is separated, but then you can get to enjoy all of that, pick out what you want. So today we're actually starting with elements and the human body, and we're going to start with iron. Yeah. So we're going to go to that one right now. Good morning to you. How are you doing, Pamela Courtney? Thank you so much for joining in here on Storytime, as we do have the anniversary song. Happy anniversary. Well, thank you so much. 5 years, Pamela Courtney. 5 years. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Thank you so much for being a part of this wonderful community. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Well, let's see. Let's start with iron, the elements of the human body. I know I put a bookmark on it, so it should be very easy for me to find. But of course, when you're alive, everything else just seems to just give you a touch, a tad bit more work to do, right? All right, page 60. Here we go. Too far. All right. And I'll just read that part to you too. It says elements and the human body. Just 6 elements: oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, and phosphorus make up 99% of the human body, including yours. Yes, you. About 0.85% is composed of another 5 elements: potassium, sulfur, sodium, chlorine, and magnesium. The elements manganese, zinc, iodine, or iodine as it's said here, selenium, chromium, lithium, molybdenum, and cobalt appear in only trace amounts in our bodies, but are essential to human life as well. And you can see too, if you do get the book, you have that graphic right there that I love the image too. This graphic here showing just how much of your body is composed of each element. But yeah, isn't that cool? Yeah, and breaks down a little bit too when you look at it. It says oxygen, what is it for? I think most of us will know this one, right? It's crucial for converting food into energy, not just breathing, right? Deeper into that. So that breathing, that intake, oxygen intake, what is it for? Well, it's crucial for converting food into energy. Yeah. And how about carbon? Who needs carbon? We're breathing it out. No, right? We don't need it. Or is it carbon dioxide? See, now I'm mixing them up. Well, carbon, what do we need it for? The basic building block of the cells in your body. Yeah, this always fascinates me when you think of carbon being the basic building block and you think of other things like, say, a diamond and how hard it is, or or you think of graphite or something, and you think of just how different the material looks or feels to your skin, for example, and yet the building blocks are the same, right? Like it's that basic building block is the same. And you could go on reading about all these different ones. Sulfur. What do you need sulfur for? Well, sulfur provides a place for amino acids to bond together, supporting cartilage and keratin in nails, hair, and skin. And I was thinking too, like the other day I came across some about like nails, hair, and so on regenerate, and then others don't seem to. Question. Maybe somebody out there might solve it. Maybe you kids that are joining us today might solve it. But chlorine, what about that one? Helps with nerve transmissions and produces gastric juices. Yeah. How about sodium? Well, 0.2% supports electrical signaling in the nervous system and regulates the amount of water in your body. So this is who I have to blame for all those times I need to run to the bathroom and pee. Sodium. Oh, goodness. All right. How about magnesium? All right. 0.1% of this comprises our body comprises 0.1% of magnesium. Plays an important role in the structure of your skeleton and muscles and helps get energy to cells. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to know? I feel like I'm just going through all of that. Well, that's just a snippet of that, right? There's so much more. And you can see too, once you get this book, you can go to page 60 and get to read up on all those important bits and get to see why each element is so important to our bodies. Well, let's dive in then. Let's say we would read iron today. Well, iron, and we know that the symbol is Fe, right? Yeah, symbol is Fe for those that No, and it is element number 26. And you can go back here to, oops, let's see. You can see it in group 8. Let me just make sure. You can see it there in group 8. Right here in group 8, you can see iron right there. Yeah. And there's so much that we can talk about why that is in group 8. But I think that's definitely a whole lesson for another day. Here we go. Iron. Iron has the distinction of being the most abundant and most magnetic naturally occurring element on Earth. Liquid iron makes up 80% of Earth's core. In its pure form, iron is a soft gray metal. It is very reactive, and when it comes into contact with air or water, it rusts. Rust is synonymous with iron. Many people associate the metal with the orangey color. How about current affairs? And that's the thing, the way the book is, let me just show you to that, like it's broken up into all this really interesting, and just it makes it such an interesting read, right? Breaks up the monotony of just going through facts, but gives you all the different ones and where each one will be. All right, a current affair. Iron, and again, remember this book was written just a while back. I think we're talking about 5 years too. So just bear in mind when we say current affair, right? Iron is responsible for Earth's magnetic field. The flow of molten iron within Earth's core creates electrical currents that in turn create a magnetic field. The field reaches tens of thousands of miles into space, protecting us from charged particles in the solar wind that try to strip away Earth's atmosphere. So really important, right? As you can see from that. Thank you, Pamela Courtney. This would be an excellent book for coffee table. Yes. Iron in the fire. What about that? Naturally occurring pure iron is found primarily in fallen meteorites. Extracting it from its ores here on Earth is called smelting. Scientists put ore containing iron in a hot furnace along with carbon in the form of coal and limestone. As it burns, the carbon and limestone remove the impurities from the ore, leaving behind pure iron. Love it, love it, love it. Glad to share ideas. I'm glad you're getting ideas. It is a beautiful book. It is such a wonderful book. Yeah, every time I dive into this, I just get to see, it's like, oh yeah, this is why this is still on the shelf. Yeah, it is a beautiful one. And I remember too, like initially when I got a copy, I was like, oh, I'm going to give away this copy to somebody in my life, a kid in my life. And then I ended up keeping this copy, and I've gotten other copies so I could give away, but I still need one in here as well. Powers put to good use. Because it rusts easily, iron is most useful when combined with other metals. Made more resilient as an alloy, it can be cast, machined, and welded into countless forms, which makes it one of the most useful and versatile substances on Earth. We use iron alloys to make huge structures such as bridges, skyscrapers, and container ships, as well as cars, tools, and even paper clips. Yeah. Are you going to use any iron today? Well, it does the body good. How so? Our bodies use iron to make hemoglobin, a substance in our blood that carries oxygen, which helps our cells produce the energy we need. If we become iron deficient, we make fewer red blood cells and can become anemic. Anemia makes people feel lethargic. We get plenty of iron from eating vegetables, grains, meat, and eggs. Who's trying to get me this early in the morning? So that's why iron is important, right? And then a heavenly gift. What is that? What does that mean? We know that humans have used iron for at least 5,000 years. In ancient times, people didn't know that iron was abundant. They thought their source of metallic iron was from meteorites that fell from the sky. Iron may have been considered desirable because it fell from the sky, and as such was considered a gift from God. Ancient Egyptians called it the metal of heaven. Like that. The metal of heaven. And you can see too in the category it's in the transition metals, and well, discovered according to this one, prehistoric times, and of course discovered by unknown. Fun fact, there is enough iron on Earth to make 3 new planets the mass of Mars. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Fun fact, there is enough iron on Earth, in the Earth, to make 3 new planets the mass of Mars. Mind-boggling, right? But yeah, there you go. That is a little bit about iron and everything else, everything that makes it so important for us, right? So I hope that when you get the chance to get through this book, you can get to read all of that, and of course just remind yourself of all those little bits. How about I just saw as I was holding the book, I just saw my bookmark fly out of the book onto the floor. And I'll see if I can find the page that I had marked, because I was going to try and just read on some of the few, well, it's multiple metals, but just on one page. So let's see here. Oh, where did I put it? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? All right, here we go. Yes, this one. We have 2. And I'm just going to read really quickly on that. So we'll start with bismuth. All right. This is metal 83, and the symbol is Bi. Since it is more abundant than other metals, bismuth was an important metal in the world of alchemy and was discovered by an unknown alchemist around 1500. Bismuth was often used with lead and tin, and in 1753, Claude Francois Geoffroy proved that it was a separate dense metal. Well, tummy soother, right? If you've had Pepto-Bismol, well, since the 18th century, bismuth has been used in the treatment of stomach ailments. You may have ingested bismuth, as it is one of the active ingredients in Pepto-Bismol, the pink stuff you drink when you have an upset stomach or diarrhea. Its non-toxicity is quite extraordinary, considering that its direct neighbors on the periodic table are lead and polonium, both of which are extremely poisonous. Yeah, think about that. Category post-transition metal. And you can go back to the periodic table and look at that as well, where those are. Years discovered, approximately 1500. Discovered by unknown alchemist. Fun fact, not funny fact, fun fact. Could be funny too, who knows? Bismuth does not accumulate in the body like other heavy metals and is considered a safer alternative to lead for water pipes. There we go. Fun fact, right? But that's a little bit about bismuth, and then we're going to read one more, and then I want to jump into a different topic that should conclude for us today. I know there's so much to go through, so much, but here we go. Polonium. Named for Marie Curie's native Poland, polonium is one of the most lethal substances known to man. Less than a microgram, about the size of a speck of dust, can kill you. Found in uranium ore and produced through nuclear reactions, it is rare due to its short half-life. Some applications of polonium involve harnessing its atomic power as a trigger in bombs. But there's other uses too. A deadly secret agent. I remember this story. In 2006, Alexander Litvinenko, an ex-KGB officer, became violently ill after meeting 2 Russian men in a London hotel. He passed away after 23 agonizing days, and tests revealed significant amounts of polonium in his body. Because polonium is rare and difficult to obtain, the only possible source was a government with nuclear weapons. I remember that story playing out on TV, and if you missed it or have forgotten about it, you can go back and search Alexander Litvinenko, and it'll come up. It was in the news almost every single day. Category: well, polonium is a post-transition metal. Year discovered 1898. Discovered by Marie Curie, a Polish-French physicist. She was brilliant, wasn't she? Fun fact: one of polonium's most common isotopes is so radioactive that a solid lamp of the extracted element will glow just by exciting the air around it. Yeah. There's so much. I know we're talking isotopes, we're talking alchemy, all of these words that I think we would still need to dive in. And that's one thing that the book does well too, because you do have, when you go to the back of it, you have a whole glossary. You have a whole glossary to help you with that, right? In case you're just unsure about something or just need to, clarify or something, you can go back to the glossary and look at that. But you do have all these, like alchemy is there, what is an alloy, and all of those things that have been talked about in here. But to close us out, as you go back to all these standout chemists of the periodic table. But I want to particularly focus on this one part that says women of the periodic table. And you can find it too on the back of that. And I'm just going to read that really quickly to conclude. Right. And here we go. Women have been contributing to the discovery and understanding of the elements since the time of alchemy. But unfortunately, many of their names and accomplishments have been lost to history. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, as the scientific field of chemistry was established, women were discouraged from pursuing it as a career and were often allowed only secondary roles in laboratories. Marie Curie read about her life and career you can read about her life and career in this book on page 125, but also, in so many books and so many other journals that have been published, was a trailblazer for many and became a catalyst for change, although many women still struggle for recognition and opportunity in chemistry fields. And you remember too, even with Marie Curie, that her husband, what was his name? Frederick, I'm blanking on the full name, but that there were a lot that were kind of deferred and put, even when she was discovering stuff, some of it has his name on it, and yet it was mostly her work. Her name should have been there first, right? So just another one, but I thought we should touch on that today and just read that. Women of the periodic table, and you can get to read so much more in here too. There's more of those images on there, and then of course too, I hope that this book just also just serves as that, like, your dipstick. Yes, Pierre. Yes. Thank you, Pamela Courtney. Thank you. How do I forget a name like that, right? Thank you so much. But this has been our reading for today. I hope that the journey into the periodic table of the elements and getting to read just a little bit about polonium, a little bit about iron, and a little bit more understanding of why these elements are so important to our body, why all these elements are so important on Earth. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. The illustrated encyclopedia of the elements, the powers, uses, and histories of every atom in the universe, written and illustrated by Lisa CONGDON, and of course read with permission of the publishers Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I hope you enjoyed that one, and of course we'll bring it back soon. So just keep an eye out. And of course, if you cannot find it at the library yet or wherever you find books, well, you can always come back and catch this episode and this episodes before, and even one where we had JJ from out in Seattle and got to have a beautiful conversation around the elements. And JJ just showed us all his knowledge too, right, like about the elements of the periodic table. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. And Ari, I hope you do get that gift for Easter. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. And Pamela Courtney, yes, something for the coffee table for sure. Tomorrow, we're back with another exciting reading, and this one is called Head to Head, 18 linked portraits of people who changed the world. Cannot wait to share that one. It is written by Baptiste Conabas and illustrations by Antoine Corembu. Thank you so much for joining in here on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Please make time to join us tomorrow. If you cannot be here live, you can always catch Storytime later at storytimewithmisslimata.com, Storytime with Miss Limata on Facebook and YouTube. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. I hope that we learned a thing or two. I hope that our minds have been activated to dig deeper into different elements, different things today. Thank you for being here. Absolutely appreciate you. One more time, remember too that Pamela Courtney has a brand new book. A Season for Fishing is coming out, a fish writer edition. This one is coming out May 20th. May 20th. Mark your calendars. Pamela Courtney, Tony D. Chambers, Farah Strauss, and Giroux. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I absolutely appreciate you, and I will see you again tomorrow when we are back with more reading, another exciting reading, another exciting story. Thank you so much for being here. Pamela Courtney, Kathy Keith, thank you for joining us out there in sunny Ohio, and of course Pamela Courtney out there in Natchitoches, Louisiana. And yes, Storytime did celebrate 5 years on Monday. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. I will see you again tomorrow when we are back with more Storytime. Biggest of hugs, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing. Read me all of your stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Story time. Ooh. Story time. Story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. you.